welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny Allen, and before we get started on today's video, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Very, very important. Make sure that you thumbs up this video and you turn on your notifications. And before we get started with today's video, I want to encourage you to check out the description box, because there you will find a link where you can sign up to my mailing list. And when you sign up to my mailing list, you'll be sent an infographic that gives you 5 tips on how you can build your relationship with God. How you can build your relationship with God. So I really want to encourage you to sign up to my mailing list and get that infographic. You'll find it really helpful. And in the middle of February, I will be starting a soap challenge. I'm going to do another video. Actually, I've done a video on a soap challenge, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to link it above, and then you can click there and watch that video about what a soap challenge is. And I'll also put the description in the I'll also put the link to that video in the description box below. I'm doing a soap challenge, so if you sign up to my mailing list, everybody on my mailing list, I'll be emailing them the details of the soap challenge, which is going to start on February the 15th for 7 days. February the 15th for 7 days. So it's going to be from the 15th to the 21st. So that's really important. That's really important information. So let's get started with today's video. Let's get started. So for today's video, I'm going to do an overview of the book of Proverbs, because during the month of January, I went through the book of Proverbs, because January has 31 days, Proverbs has 31 chapters. So I read a chapter a day of the book of Proverbs, and I will really encourage you to, next time you have a month with 31 days in it, I will really encourage you to take it up as a challenge to read a chapter a day of the book of Proverbs during that month. And I'm just going to give you an overview of the book of Proverbs in this video. Things that I gleaned. I'm going to share a little bit of how it ministered to me. And, even after watching this video, if you just want to take up that challenge and then just for the next 31 days, read a chapter of Proverbs daily for the next 31 days, you can do that. But I would really encourage you to do it. It is full of so much wisdom, and I'm going to go through the things that I learned and some of the research that I did about the book of Proverbs. I'm going to go through that with you in this video. The book of Proverbs, the theme of the book of Proverbs is Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7. Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7, and I'm going to read that for you. And it says, I'll read it in the King James Version, and it says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." The theme is Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. The respect of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. It is the principal thing. So that's the overall theme. And then I've got here, much of the book emphasizes listening to others so we can learn from our elders and parents. So a lot of the book, what I found, a lot of the verses were discussing the importance of listening to your mother, listening to your father, listening to those older than you, paying attention to people who are elders, listening to them for their wisdom. And sometimes when we're young, we don't always want to listen to our parents because we always think we know best until we get into trouble. But this book emphasizes the importance of listening to those older than you, listening to those who have lived a particular life or walked down a particular path. They are able to give you wisdom for living and instruction on how you can live your life going forward. Okay, it gives numerous instructions for living an effective life on earth. It provides principles to apply in a variety of situations. Okay, so that is the overall theme of what Proverbs is about. Now, the author of Proverbs, the principal author of Proverbs, is King Solomon. And then we have Agar, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, he's mentioned in Proverbs 30 verse 1, and then King Lemuel is mentioned in Proverbs 31 verse 1, and that's King Lemuel in that chapter. You know, everybody knows you've got that as the Proverbs 31 woman. Now, in King Solomon, before Solomon was anointed king or crowned king, he went and he asked God, he did a prayer to God, and he was asking God for wisdom to be able to rule the people. And God honored Solomon's cry for wisdom, and that is in, if you go to 1 Kings chapter 3 verses 5 to 9 and 1 Kings chapter 4 verses 29 to 31. Those verses will show you Solomon's prayer and God responding to Solomon's prayer for wisdom. And in the book of Proverbs, Solomon is mentioned in Proverbs 1 verse 1, Proverbs 10 verse 1, and Proverbs 25 verse 1. So Solomon is the principal author for the book of Proverbs. Okay, and then I've got here the chapter breakdowns. So from chapters 1 to 9, you have a prologue to wise living. Chapter 10 verse 1 to chapter 31 verse 9, you have principles of wise living. Principles of wise living. And that is the chunk of the book of Proverbs. Chapter 10 verse 1 and chapter 31 verse 9. And if we go to Proverbs 15:33, I've got a note there. Proverbs 15:33 says, "The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility." Before honor is humility. And then I'll read it in the Amplified. The reverent and worshipful fear of the Lord brings instruction in wisdom, and humility comes before honor. Humility comes before honor. And to be able to receive wisdom, you've got to have a heart that is humble. You've got to have a heart that is geared towards humility, because for you to be able to receive instruction, effective instruction, you have to be somebody who's willing to listen and to hear and to apply. You cannot receive wisdom and be somebody that has a prideful heart, or boastful, or thinking that you know more than everyone else. You cannot receive wisdom with that attitude and with that kind of heart. You have to be somebody that has a heart that is humble, that walks in humility, and you have to be able to have a spirit that is willing to learn. Once you're willing to learn, you can receive wisdom, because wisdom, you have to be able to take instruction and learning from others. Okay, so to be able to receive wisdom, you have to have a heart of humility to receive what you're being told. And then you've got chapter 31, verse 10 to 31. It's the personification of wise living. The personification of wise living. And the personification of wise living is seen in the Proverbs 31 woman. Is seen in the Proverbs 31 woman. So you can go there and you can learn and receive instruction on how to live wisely by seeing the example of a Proverbs 31 woman. And then you've got Christ in Proverbs. Wisdom is incarnate in Christ. Wisdom is incarnate in Christ. And I just want to share with you 1 Corinthians 1:24 and 30 to show you where wisdom is incarnate in Christ. For unto them which are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ the power of God and the wisdom of God. So Christ is the power of God and the wisdom of God. Let me show you that here. Christ is the power of God and the wisdom of God. And then in the Amplified, it says, but to those who are called, whether Jew or Greek, Gentile, Christ is the power of God and the wisdom of God. So Christ is the power and wisdom of God. And then we've got verse 30. Verse 30 says, but of him are ye in Christ Jesus, who of God is made unto us wisdom and righteousness and sanctification and redemption. But of him are ye in Christ, who of God is made unto us wisdom and righteousness and sanctification and redemption. So Christ is made unto us wisdom. So when you have Christ and you can apply Christ in your life and you can walk with that humility of spirit to receive Christ, you are receiving the power and the wisdom of God. Okay, and that's 1 Corinthians 1:24, verses 24 and 30. And then we're just going to go to Colossians 2 verse 3. Colossians 2 verse 3 says, in him, which is Christ, in him all the treasures, I'll read it in the King James Version. Colossians 2 verse 3. In whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. In whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. And in the Amplified it says, in him all the treasures of divine wisdom, comprehensive insight into the ways and purposes of God, and all the riches of spiritual knowledge and enlightenment are stored up and lie hidden. So in Christ are all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge that you will ever need. So when you embrace Christ, when you receive Christ, when you walk in Christ, you have the power and wisdom of God, and you have the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. Okay, so that is Christ in Proverbs. And the verses there, 1 Corinthians 1:24, 1 Corinthians 1:30, and Colossians 2 verse 3. And then finally, you've got applying it. Read it, live it, apply it. Proverbs is full of nuggets of truth. Read it, live it, apply it. There's no point in reading a book like Proverbs and you don't live it and you don't apply it. You have to be active with your faith. You have to be active in applying what you have learned in the Word and what you have read in any book that you're reading. But Proverbs is full of nuggets of applying wisdom to your life in everyday situations, in family situations, in work situations, in business situations, how you handle yourself, how you handle your relationships. Proverbs is the book for you. And I would really challenge you to take some time, get your favorite version of the Bible and read through the book of Proverbs. Now, when I did my reading, my monthly read through the Bibles, I use my single column journaling Bible. I really, really love this Bible, let me tell you. And what I had I went through the book of Proverbs. There you can see all my notes, all my highlights. This is kind of highlighted in pencil, so you won't be able to see that. But I went through the book of Proverbs and I wrote notes. As things kind of came to mind, I wrote notes and I highlighted. And then what I also did, I got myself a notebook. Here's the notebook. And this is a book that I'm going to be using throughout the year as I go through each book of the Bible and I do a read through. I'm going to be taking notes. So my first book for this year, as you can see, is Proverbs, and I'm going to go through And then I did Proverbs chapter 1. I wrote what ministered to me here. Proverbs chapter 2. I wrote what ministered to me there. Proverbs chapter 3. I wrote out what ministered to me. Proverbs chapter 4. And so on. And I did each day, as I would do a read through, I would make notes in this book. So for the month of February that we're in now, I'm going to be doing the book of James, because James is the New Testament version of the book of Proverbs, okay, which is in the Old Testament. So Proverbs chapter 5, Proverbs chapter 6, there are my notes. And I am actually going to be taking the notes that I've made, and I'm going to be doing videos from them. So look out for that. And there are certain sections of Proverbs that really ministered to me, and I'm going to be doing separate videos on those and kind of expanding or expounding on what blessed me as I was reading these particular sections of the book of Proverbs. So I hope this really ministered to you. I hope it ministered to you. Please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Please make sure that you thumbs up this video, and don't forget to check out the description box and sign up to my mailing list, because I will be doing a soap challenge on the 15th of February, and there are also other things that I send out on my mailing list. So please make sure that you're subscribed. Please make sure that you sign up to my mailing list. And also, when you sign up, you get 5 ways to build your relationship with God as a free infographic, okay, that will go to your email. Make sure you check your junk mail in case it lands there, and you will get that when you sign up to my mailing list. All right, so I hope this really ministered to you. Let me know what book of the Bible you went through in the month of January. And as I said, I'll be doing James for the month of February. James is one of my favorite books. And I will see you in my next video. Okay, so God bless, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, see you next time. Bye.